Welcome back to the Guy Dawson Show at the World Center of Broadcast Media, WCOBM.com. I am here with the illustrious Quan and the dapper gentleman Charles Whitby. And Charles, again, I was talking about you being a serial entrepreneur, and what was it that motivated you to create the brand, the Dapper Gentleman?
Well, I think it goes back to a little bit of reading that I did. I went through a series of books that really inspired me to venture out of my comfort zone. I mean, I've been, a professional for quite some time. My background is computer network security. So I've got a degree in computer networking. I've got 9 IT certifications, and 4 of which are specific to information security. And so I've always done that kind of as the professional side and wanted to use that as, how I achieved a life or whatever. And then I started reading. It all started with John Maxwell. My pastor's wife took us through a study in Bible college on the 17 laws of teamwork. And so I became a John Maxwell reader. And then I read the 21 laws of leadership. And then I went on to read the 7 habits of highly effective people. And that's when entrepreneurship started brewing in my mind. And then from there, I read The 4-Hour Work Week by Timothy Ferriss, which is an incredible read. If anybody is an entrepreneur and you have aspirations to do so, that book is a must-have. And it talks about building a system, and so I began to think about some of the areas that I, was good in. I'm good in information technology and I'm good in fashion. And so I looked at both areas and I did some things in both areas. Obviously, the consumer base from a public perspective there's more attention around fashion than there is about information security. Although with the breaches that have been happening with some of the major organizations, that's starting to get more traction. But the consumer, the everyday person, is not necessarily as concerned. That's more of a business to business type of a situation. So in terms of reaching out to a consumer base, because I've always loved to dress, and even in IT, as you put in my media kit, I'm known as the best dressed guy in IT. And because of that mantra, and because I was voted best dressed in high school, and just a lot of motivation around, fashion is something I like to do. And so it's encouraged in a lot of entrepreneur readership that you should pursue your passion or what the things that you like. And obviously we've talked about the background of me being in church and how I'm actually in Vegas because of my church. And, I dress up all the time for church. I'm in church, several times a week, so I dress up. And, a lot of people that I know and grew up with, they're in my network at church. And so it became an easy opportunity to really be able to gauge, am I getting the right products in front of people? Am I getting the right things that people will buy and receive? And it was well received. So I always thank my church family for being very receptive of me initially in a business, because that was really my foundation. My pastor became one of my first clients, and then some of the other members in the church. And so from there, I built out an organization where, I started meeting more people and telling them what I did, and, began to gain more traction. My social media following grew very tremendously. And so from an entrepreneur standpoint, I was really motivated by the reads. And then after the 4-Hour Work Week, I read The Magic of Thinking Big by Dr. David Schwartz. And really it takes away
Love that book. Classic motivational book.
Yeah, that book takes away all excuses. There was no reason for me to not pursue. Like Quan said, get your foot in the water. There was no reason for me not to do it. After reading that book, I took away all my own excuses and said, hey, I can do this. I can really do this. And so I was inspired to do so. And I have a couple other ventures that spun off as a result of me, putting my feet in the water, right? You jump in the water and it becomes more than what you expected. And from the fashion, I had to develop a process to really turn my social media into leads. So I developed a process to really turn social media into a profit center, and then begin to sell that service to other brands. There's a brand that I partner with. There's several brands that I actually partner with that are utilizing the services. And then I'm helping an author. I just brought in another young lady. She's She does tutus for little girls. And I don't know if that's something you would ever wear, but tutus
Oh
for
my
little
gosh,
girls.
the audience will love me if I
Yeah,
wear
that's
it.
right.
Begin with you two guys, right? Right now you like me a little bit, but when I wear tutu, you
somehow
will love me.
I don't picture you really in a tutu.
No.
No.
It's
But
a joke.
just so different companies, and so I've been helping them with their marketing from a social media perspective because that's something that we had to perfect internally with the Dapper Gentleman, and so it's something I've been able to help other people with as well. So obviously I'm doing the information security as well. So I'm multifaceted, but I'm building systems that I can replicate that have other people involved, plug in, plug out. And so I've got individual reps in Vegas. I've got reps in Michigan. I got some people in Texas. So it's really moving. And then I have stores that I've got product in all those places. So I'm building a distribution system for the fashion.
Would you need, sorry,
No, go ahead.
would you need a rap in Hong Kong?
A rap in Hong Kong?
Yeah.
You know what?
And in Japan, China,
Listen,
mainland China.
wherever business takes me, I love overseas. You know, I was in Europe actually with my church just a little while ago. We took a cruise around the southern Mediterranean border of Europe, and I've never been to Asia. Would love to go. So let's plan a trip, Quan.
Business and a pleasure.
We should
two
do a
in
live
one.
broadcast of the show over in China.
That
Oh
would
my
be
God,
great.
definitely.
Amazing.
Yeah, filming everything. Where you going to sightseeing? Is it called sightseeing, right?
Sightseeing.
Yeah.
Sightseeing.
Uh-huh.
And along with your suits change.
Yes.
Wow,
Yes,
that
would
would be
fun.
amazing. Yeah,
That
definitely
would
would
be
be
real
a
fun.
Amazing part of your new reality show.
That would be, because one of the things is one of my tailors is in Shanghai, so that would
Yeah,
be
Shanghai is
yeah.
very famous for tailor-made suits.
Absolutely.
Shanghai and Hong Kong.
Yeah, so we could definitely, as I go and develop some more relationships with some tailors overseas,
More relationships.
we should go.
You
Because
gotta
maybe
take
you know what, you can be my liaison, because I wouldn't know how to speak the language, and I use that service as well. So hey, there's maybe a business opportunity for us here.
And that's what
Not
it's all
just-
about on the Guy Dawson Show.
Yeah,
It's
this
all
is
about
actually-
creating love connections in business.
love and the connections
That's right.
and the more business
And more business.
and the international business.
International business. That's what we're about.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
I know fashion business is a very cutting through business.
Mm-hmm.
What is your biggest tip you could share with us and our audience to make you successful?
Yeah, I think from the fashion perspective, really developing the right partnerships.
Partnership.
It's understanding the people that you're working with, making sure that you have a good vibe with those individuals, making sure that they understand you being very transparent about your objectives, and then they being transparent about their objectives. And if there's not a win-win relationship, don't take it. And only pursue relationships that are a win-win. I think that's the best advice I could give for the cutthroat business.
Yeah, I mean, that would probably be true for any business relationship.
Absolutely.
Right? It's the partners, the people that you choose to go into
And
business
make sure you
with.
sign non-disclosure agreements.
Yes.
Non-disclosure agreements are very important.
Yeah, very important. Somebody runs around, you tell them something, and they run around the corner and do the same
Right.
thing that you did, and they don't even do it right.
Right.
That's where it makes it so bad.
Now we have business to talk about. When you go overseas, those international law are not very well established.
Right.
You better listen to me.
Yes, that's what I'm taking.
We're going to talk more about international law, the Dapper Gentleman, and how we're going to get you suited up, illustrious Quan, in just a second when we return with more of the Guy Dawson Show.
Get the suit.